Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to my top 5 best classes of the pre-patch. This will be in order of absolute best to worst of the best. So the first one you see will be the best, and the last one you see will be the worst of the best. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Should be no surprise, Shadow Priest. This class has caused a good bit of controversy since its release in I suppose pre-patch, I guess, is when it got really strong. The main reason we're strong in pre-patch, we didn't necessarily lose anything. We didn't lose anything from our kit, except Void Eruption now being a cooldown, but we gained a lot. So I suppose that's why we're so strong right now. Just kind of showcasing rotation right now as well. But as you know, Shadow Priest, the damage over time class. Let's talk about what we gained. You'll notice we have 3 dots, Devouring Plague. Devouring Plague does 500 damage every 2.5 seconds. And keep in mind, this guy is really fucking under-geared. So, normal geared Shadow Priest will hit much harder than this. So let's talk about further in depth what we've kind of gained and what we've lost in the pre-patch and why we're so strong. Let's just start right off with it. Void Eruption is now on a cooldown, 1.5 minute cooldown, however, that's not really that impactful. I suppose the thing that really makes us strong is the fact we can still spam dots on pretty much everything, build up insanity fairly fast, and then just, you know, throw dots on pretty much everything possible. And there is no target cap to Devouring Plague, so you could have Devouring Plague on hypothetically 3 people at one time like I do now, as long as you're good at it. And good at managing your damage over time. On top of Devouring Plague just hitting absolutely absurdly hard for a damage over time spell, it also heals you for 50% of the damage you do, so the more Devouring Plagues you have out on multiple targets, the more self-healing you'll get. I often find Devouring Plague heals for as much as Shadow Mend and as much as Dispersion whenever I do Battlegrounds, so that's really strong. We also have just a crazy amount of utility. We have Dispersion for damage reduction and self-healing. We have Vampiric Embrace for self-healing. We have Greater Fade to just... it's essentially like a 4-second bubble as long as you don't cast any spells. You have Power Word Shield, which absorbs 1,000 damage on like a 7.5 second cooldown, which you can just spam whenever you want, pretty much. Our AoE damage is really good, just spreading dots and everyone, and our single target damage is actually pretty strong right now, with Devouring Plague being just completely baseline now, so that's a thing. Of course, we have Mass Dispel. Mass Dispel being really good against bubbles, and one thing I'd like to mention is Desperate Prayer and Dispersion share the exact same cooldown, so you can pretty much use them together every time in which you gain, you know, whatever health you gain from Desperate Prayer, increasing your max health and then healing that max health with Dispersion as well. So, yeah, Shadow Priest really strong right now, and I feel like we're only going to get more strong as Shadowlands goes on. We did get Thought Steal, which is essentially makes it so mages and whatnot can't use Polymorph for 20 seconds, which is really, really strong. We also have Void Shift, which, you know, swaps your health with another person in Arena. Again, really strong. And Siphene, which, you know, it's like a mortal strike effect in a pet that channels 1% of the target's damage and health every 1 second. And also, we have a stun. So pretty much we have crazy self-heals, a good bit of stuns, a good bit of control with Fear and Mind Control, good defenses with Dispersion, Devouring Plague, Vampiric Embrace, Greater Fate, all that shit. There's really no downside to Shadow Priest, I feel like, other than the fact you have to channel / cast a spell when it comes to Vampiric Embrace. Like, you have to cast it, otherwise just nothing's gonna happen, but that's really the only downside I could think of. So, number 1, if you've been playing pre-patch and paying attention whatsoever, you'll not be surprised, it's definitely Shadow Priest. Okay, so number 2 on the list is Affliction Warlock. Let's talk about what's really strong with Affliction Warlock. Pretty much what changed with pre-patch is Unstable Affliction no longer costs a Soul Shard, and the new thing that consumes Soul Shards is Malefic Rapture, which essentially just does damage to every target that has a damage over time effect of yours on them. And I just tested this, there is no longer an infinite range on Malefic Rapture, which just added to the brokenness, but I don't think will completely break the strength of this class. I really think the strength of this it just comes from the damage over time. Malefic Rapture damage is just bonus on top of that, but you pretty much rot people down. Getting off track, just off of their damaging abilities and moving on to more of their utility. With the introduction of Prepatch, we now have curses. I think curses right now are really, really broken. I'd say they need to throw like a 20-second cooldown on all of them or something like that, but the fact that I can just spam curses as much as I want seems awfully broken. And the thing that the curses do are just broken too. Curse of Tongues increases casting time of all spells by 30%. Curse of Exhaustion and a 50% slow for 8 seconds. And then Curse of Weakness. Curse of Weakness isn't too strong, however it is really strong with Amplify Curse. If you use the Amplify Curse Honor Town, it is essentially a Roar of Sacrifice from a Hunter on a 45-second cooldown, or in other words, as long as you throw it on a specific target, that target will no longer be able to critically strike. Probably really good against Destruction Warlocks. So on top of that utility, and the damage, that's pretty crazy right now, and it's for the most part competing with Shadow Priest, which is the highest damaging class in the game. We did gain Demonic Circle. Demonic Circle is no longer spec'd / talented into. You just have it baseline, which I think is outstanding. And we also have Demonic Gateway, which again is just another kind of mobility that you do gain. We also gained the ability to kind of fast summon our pets back if we are doing Arena, and they do kill your pet. You can just summon your pet instantly like that, which will be, I think, pretty strong, especially with Fell Hunters, since Fell Hunters can purge people and interrupt them as well. Aside from that, I don't think really much changed with Warlock. It's kind of similar with Shadow Priest. We didn't really lose anything, and we only really gained stuff. I guess we lost the ability to cast Unstable Affliction with Soul Shards, but we only gained, I'd say, beneficial things from Prepatch, which is why we're so strong right now, versus many other specs that, you know, gained some, lost some, and then it kind of balanced out to the middle. A lot of the classes that didn't lose anything and only gained are kind of overtuned, as some would say. But yeah, damage is really good, utility is really good, mobility is not too bad anymore at Demonic Circle, and you are a little bit tankier than most casters with, of course, Soul Leech and Unending Resolve and stuff, but yeah, Affliction Warlock, number 2 on the list. Number 3 on the list. And this is not the melee I was talking about. I guess this kind of qualifies as melee since I do physical damage, but I'm a ranged character, so I don't know. I don't know, you be the judge, but Marksman. Marksman's number 3. The main reason, I really think Sniper Shot is the new Greater Pyro. The fact it does 20% of your max health, 10-second cooldown, and also increases your range to be like 40% of 35, or 46 yards is. I don't know, it's like 60 yards or something, but pretty much you do a shit ton of damage at a range that no one else can hit you at except Marksman Hunters, so that's why we're really strong right now. Again, similar with all the other classes that I've mentioned before, we didn't really lose anything, and we only really gained things from Prepatch. Let's talk about what really changed. I don't honestly think much changed about Marksman. I think Arcane Shot hits a little bit harder, Aim Shot hits a little bit harder, and Sniper Shot stayed the same. I think Rapid Fire does hit a tiny bit harder as well, but let's get into the rotation. So, let's just showcase this sweet burst. Usually you'd Sniper Shot before this, but this is without Sniper Shot, so, I mean, just so you guys know, we'll use Rapid Fire here. Rapid Fire does a shit ton of damage, by the way. This guy is not geared by any means, however, I will commonly chunk people for more than half of their health with one Rapid Fire, so Rapid Fire does a good bit of damage. I would also like to point out that Arcane Shot, as a Marksman Hunter, hits harder than a Storm Strike as an Enhancement Shaman. And you might be thinking to yourself, oh, why is he talking about this? Well, because some classes blatantly do way more damage than other classes, and I really think Marksman is one of them. This guy is not geared by any means, 99 item level, and I'm casually just hitting 3000s and 7000s. Like, it's really no one's deal. So, I really think some classes need tuning, and I do believe Blizzard just buffed Marksman in our burst window. So that's something to keep in mind going on further in this video. On top of their crazy damage, we can I don't want to say we can kite forever, but we can kite to the point where someone will give up in their pursuit of us. We have Dispersion, sorry, not Dispersion, Disengage, which if you are talented will also give you movement speed with Post Haste right there. Binding Shot is, I think, the main reason why a lot of people won't chase us. If someone goes in the Binding Shot and breaks that, they're rooted for 8 seconds, and 8 seconds is pretty much a Frost Nova. So we have a Frost Nova now, On top of that, we do have pretty good utility ourselves. We have Stealth, which also heals us for 2% of our max health every 1 second. So that's really nice. We also have Feign Death, which is, of course, is really good. So saying dodging a Chaos Bolt or something like that. We have Aspect of the Turtle, reduces all damage you take by 30%. It is essentially just a bubble that you can't cast in, but you can just run away in. I'd like to point out, Aspect of the Cheetah did get changed. It now increases movement speed by 90% for 5 seconds instead of 3 seconds previous to pre-patch, and buffs move speed for 30% for 9 seconds, which is unchanged before pre-patch. Defensiveness with survival of the fittest. Oh, kill shot. I can't believe I almost forgot this. We have an execute now. 10 focus. I find it hard to actually get an execute off right now, especially how fast things are dying in Battlegrounds, but kill shot is almost just like, it's like a little bit more of a juiced up arcane shot. It hits between aim shot and arcane shot damage-wise, but is obviously still very, very strong. We also have Tranquilizing Shot, is now a purge. Removes 1 enraged and 1 magic effect from any enemy target. 10-second cooldown. I think what's really strong here is the magic, of course, and also Hunter's Mark. There's been controversy behind Hunter's Mark, so I'm not really going to talk about it too much, but you can see stealth people if you throw it up. And also Scare Beast for Feral Druids. I think that's really it with Marksman. The reason it's really on this list is because I think we do absurd damage for... I mean, this guy's so low item level, but he still hits so hard. I mean, 3.8k non-crits. Like, look at my DPS right now. 8k crit. Let's see how much that one rapid fire did damage-wise. 12,000. That's my health pool. That is my health pool right now. I have a 15k health pool, and I'm capable of hitting for 12,000. I don't think I need to convince you to play Marksman anymore after this video. If you haven't, you're missing out. Alright, number 4 on the list, boys. Good old Elemental Shaman. The only reason I'm putting Elemental... Okay, never mind. I was going to talk about Enhance, but I don't even want to mention that in the same sentence as Elemental right now. But Elemental hits pretty well right now. You know, you hit 2,000s very casually, and of course, the more people you have Flame Shocks, the more damage you're going to do. Echoing Shock will now pretty much replicate your Earth Shock on targets, which is, of course, awfully strong right now. And we really didn't lose anything, and we only gained things with the pre-patch. I'll showcase the burst here after I get my Flame Shock applied on another target. Here we go. Okay, let's throw out some burst. Stormkeeper, I should have Echoing Shock up right now, but we're not going to use Echoing Shock. But Echoing Shock and Stormkeeper does a crazy amount of damage. I've made a video on it in my channel somewhere. But yeah, our damage is really good right now. We have pretty good self-healing, which, I don't know, is kind of a surprise to me, to be honest, but let's get into the other reasons why we're really strong aside from just crazy damage. Let's get right into it. Earth Shield. We have actually really good off-healing, which is odd. We have Earth Shield healing, we have Healing Stream Totem healing, and we also have Healing Surge healing. And then on top of all that healing, if you take Swelling Waves, the Honor talent, your Healing Surges will replicate the heal for 50%, which is essentially just buffing your heal by 50% on your Healing Surge, so that, in my opinion, is really strong right now. The main reason we're really strong, and I'll showcase it again once my Stormkeeper's up, is our Echoing Shock and Stormkeeper burst is really disgusting. Alongside with the obvious Lava Burst damage being spammed and all that, but let's showcase that Stormkeeper damage here. We'll get a Lava Burst op to gain that effect, Sky Fury Totem, Echoing Shock as well, and then... Yeah, that's why we're strong right there. At 820,000 damage and 2 globals, that's pretty nice as an Elemental Shaman. Their damage is really good. Other than that, I don't think really anything changed about Elemental. We have extra healing. Oh, Spirit Walker's Grace is also new. This was only a restoration ability previous to pre-patch, but now we have it in the pre-patch. So you can pretty much cast while moving. I guess I'll use it here. So let's say, usually Lava Burst would not be an ability you can cast while moving, but you'll see here, I'm casting while moving while using it. And you can also use it on Healing Surge, Stormbringer, pretty much anything you'd normally cast on, you can use it. Something to not ignore is definitely Lightning Lasso. Lightning Lasso still does a good bit of damage, and also stuns the target. I'm surprised not more people have been complaining about it, to be honest, but yeah. We also have Ascendance. Ascendance is a very strong burst, but I feel like you just get stun locked every time you use it, so most people won't use it, and most people just go for the Stormkeeper Echoing Shock kind of wombo combo. But yeah, similar to all the other classes, didn't lose anything, only gained things, and our damage is kind of higher than some other classes. I mean, and by other classes I mean Enhancement Shaman. Compare Enhancement Shaman to Elemental, and you'll see why. You'll see why I recommend Elemental as number 4 on the list. So number 5 on the list is Sub-Rogue, guys. I'd like to mention a few other melees in advance, though. Ret Pally is really strong right now, Windwalker Monk is really strong right now, and Arms Warrior is really strong right now. The only reason Sub-Rogue is on this list is because they can just stun lock someone forever and they can kill someone in a cheap shot. And I also find Sub-Rogues to be one of the most annoying things in a battleground as long as they are only focusing you. So if you're the type of guy that likes to bully someone, or just kind of go out of your way to make someone else's day miserable, Sub-Rogue's probably the class for you. So let's get into their burst, and I'll just kind of showcase it here. And along with the other classes, why this is really strong right now, our damage is kind of overtuned and a lot stronger than other specs right now. Blizzard will address this by saying, oh, it's because of certain traits, but that's up to you to decide. Anyway, let's kind of do the burst here. Do the dance. So again, with Sub-Rogue, you pretty much delete someone in a cheap shot. With certain talents, it makes it so cheap shot more or less can be spammed. I'll talk about this more in the future, but yeah. Our damage is really good. We have Rupture now, which is now added to our baseline kit, which just gives us a somewhat potent damage over time spell. I also don't have Poisons up, don't mind that. Poisons don't really do anything, at least damage-wise. If you are going against a healer, however, which, a strength to Rogue, if you didn't know, Wound Poison reduces the healing a person takes by, like, I think it's 12% now, which is pretty strong, to be honest, but yeah, really good burst. Eviscerate does really good damage. Rupture now being baseline. And just your cooldowns almost having no cooldown, I think is really... It doesn't push us over the limit of, like, being really, really strong, but I think it just adds on top of it. So aside from their damage, what makes us really good? Well, I'll tell you. We have Elusiveness. By the way, I want this to get nerfed, Blizzard. Please do something. Elusiveness makes your feint into a 30% damage reduction for 5 seconds on a 15-second cooldown. 35 energy. So, on a 15-second cooldown, you can gain 30% damage reduction, which is really, really strong and has been present in the Rogue toolkit for just way, way too long. Let's move off of that one. Shot in the Dark's the kind of talent I was talking about, where it allows you to more or less spam cheap shot. After entering Stealth or Shadow Dance, your next cheap shot is free. So let's say I enter Stealth, we cheap shot this guy, and then I'm bursting, and then I Shadow Dance. I can cheap shot again for completely free. And then you can cheap shot, I think, one more time, but that's what I mean by stun locking someone and killing them in a cheap shot. It's pretty easy to do. On top of that kind of cheap shot shenanigan, your damage while on Shadow Dance is permanently increased with Dark Shadow and Symbols of Death, which you should be using. Let's talk about more of a utility, I suppose. Smoke Bomb. We all know what Smoke Bomb does. If someone's in it, they can't see/interact with the target outside of it, and vice versa. If there's a target outside of it, they can't interact, heal, damage the target inside of it. We also have Shadowy Duel. This is really good for Arena. It's not really so common in Battlegrounds, but it's essentially enables it so only you and the other target you use it on can see each other, and everyone else just disappears. It also lets you, of course, use your stealth moves, or at least it did. So if you use this on a target, you'll be able to use Shadow Strike, Cheap Shot, all of that stuff. Sap as well. And, of course, we have Evasion. Evasion increases dodge chance by 100% for 10 seconds. Cloak of Shadows, we all know what Cloak of Shadow does. It's the ability you use when you vanish, and it gets rid of magic damage effects. And then we have Blind. We all know what Blind does. It's one of the most annoying CCs in the game, and is pretty much used to chain CCs together. Really the only reason Rogue's on here is, again, I find it one of the most annoying classes to deal with in almost every expansion. Its toolkit's been overpowered. I don't want to say overpowered, but I think its toolkit's been overpowered for a very long time. And similar to all the other classes in this list, we lost nothing in pre-patch and only gained things. We gained Slice and Dice, we gained Rupture, we gained somewhat / more damage in our burst through Shadow Dance and Eviscerate. Eviscerate, by the way, now also hits for 50% additional shadow damage when the target does have Find Weakness on them, so that goes through armor as well. Two charges of Shadow Step. Yeah, we're looking good, to be honest, for Shadowlands. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, description, bell thing. Check out Twitch, check out Twitter. As always, guys, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the top 5 specs of pre-patch, and I'll see you guys whenever Shadowlands launches with more top 5s in the future. As always, guys, thank you. Till next time.